Hey there, today I want to talk about how to release in the real world while you're at work, while you're with the kids, while you're shopping, so that you can integrate this into your daily life, so that you build up massive momentum. Your results get a lot faster and you can achieve your big goals even faster. And while we're talking about releasing in the real world, how about we go out into the real world? Let's go for a walk and do some releasing together. All right, you up for it? Let's go. One of the things that I love about living in Philadelphia is being able to just walk out the door, walk down the street, and actually feel like you're getting somewhere. You go down to the end of the block, you turn the corner, you cross the street, and everything changes. Every street has its own energy, its own rhythm. It's just a wonderful place to get out and explore. So this thing about letting go moment by moment, we often think that it's an either-or thing, that we have to set aside special time in order to do it. Now don't get me wrong, it's always good to spend time dedicated to letting go, but why limit yourself to only letting go some of the time? Also, a problem with this idea that we have to set aside time to let go is now we start classifying it as work, like another thing that we have to set aside time to do. Then it competes with all the other things that we have to set aside time for, with our family, with our work. Those things now compete with letting go, and they often win. And the whole idea is a mistake, because just imagine for a moment, you're in that state of total freedom, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. Your natural state would just be free, open, unattached. You wouldn't hold on to anything, and you wouldn't have to make any decisions about whether to release or not, because it's your natural state. It's just how you are. So now we're looking at things from a different point of view, that we are open. It's just natural for us to be in this state of being released. So all we're doing is just practicing being ourselves. Looking at it this way, spending time letting go, it's natural. Therefore, it's the easiest thing to do. Letting go is a lot more attractive, and it's a lot easier. In fact, it's the easiest thing you can do, because not being yourself, that's freaking difficult. And the more time you spend letting go, the easier life gets. Bonus. So what's the easiest way to stay released while you're in the real world, doing real responsibilities? To get the best answer, let's sit down and do some releasing on it. But first, let's look at some practical strategies for using now as a constant opportunity to let go. Now, one of the easiest things to do, also one of the most rewarding things, is to set the goal to love yourself completely. This is the easiest thing to do, because all you have to do is just ask yourself those simple questions. Could I let go of disapproving of myself? And some more. And could I give myself some approval? And more. And even more. And all you have to do is just answer yes. And this is something that you can multitask doing whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter what it is. You could always simultaneously be asking yourself these questions and letting go of disapproving of yourself and giving yourself approval. And another benefit to doing this is you get to set the bar to being all loving. And therefore, when you are doing something that's non-loving. It's obvious. You see it. And it's easier to let that go and correct your non-loving attitudes. Big bonus. In fact, let's go find a quiet spot and practice this a little bit. Just get into the groove. All right, so let's just take a look at something that's going on in your life, something in your daily routine that gets in the way of your releasing, that interferes with your ability to let go. And maybe it's something that is business or work related, something that takes a lot of concentration, a lot of focus, and probably along with that a lot of stress. And while you're doing it, it just feels like impossible to let go because there's all this other stuff that's going on. So just see if you've got something like that in your daily life. And just notice your feeling towards what's going on. And see if you've been disapproving of the situation. Now, when you're disapproving of the situation, does that resolve anything? Or does it just keep you dissatisfied with your life, with what's going on, and also dissatisfied with your releasing and your growth? Now, who's doing this? Who's disapproving of the situation? You are. And what you're literally doing is just throwing negativity into it. So of course, nothing is going to change if you're being negative towards it. And you're doing it. So now that you see what's going on and this attitude isn't helping anything, now you can make a decision. I'm going to be positive and love myself, and I'm going to be positive and love the situation, or I'm just going to be negative and beat it all up. What do you decide? So could you let go of the negativity? Could you let go of disapproving of what's going on? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And see if you're judging the situation, judging that it's good, it's bad, it's whatever. And that's just a story, a label that you're placing on it, and you're doing it. And by doing it, you're making things harder for yourself. So could you let go of that judgment? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And you see, you've just concocted a whole story in your mind about that this thing is wrong, it's stressful, and you're heaping a lot of context to it that doesn't need to be there. And it's just all in your mind. Now, could you let go of disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And can you let go of judging this as an obstacle to your freedom and your happiness and your releasing? You see, you're making it out to be an enemy, whatever that thing is that's in your life. So could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. Now notice how you feel. See if you feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more open, a little bit easier. And can you see that the whole thing is just a story in your mind? That this activity is an obstacle, that it's also something that you have to do. And because you have to do it, you can't work on freedom, you can't let go, you can't work to improve yourself, you can't spend time on your goals because of this thing. And that's just a story in your mind. Now, could you let go of disapproving of this whole story? Could you let go of disapproving of it some more? And even more. And even more. And even more. Now notice how you feel. See if you feel even lighter now. See, everything is your decision. Now, for the sake of positivity, could you give this situation some love and approval? Could you just love it? And could you love it some more? Even if it is a distraction, even if it does take up a lot of time in your day, could you give it some love and approval? And could you give it some more love and approval? And some more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you give it even more love and approval? And even more. And even more. Notice how you feel now. See if it feels like you have more clarity, more centeredness, and you're more in touch with quiet. See, here's the thing. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. Quiet is always here. And you can always connect with quiet no matter what you're doing. Now, see if you still have a belief, or maybe it appears to be a reality, that these things that you have in your life take away from your ability to release, make it difficult, and you don't have time to release. Now, could you let go of being so smart and allow it to be other than what you think it is? And just let go of that whole story in your mind. And again, could you let go of being so smart and allow it to be other than what you think it is? And more. And even more. And even more. And all the things in your life that appear to be a distraction, noise, attention getters, could you, instead of resisting them, instead of wanting to be separate from them, could you embrace the noise and the activity and the stuff that's in your daily life, in your world? Could you move towards it? And could you surrender to it? And could you surrender to it some more? And even more. And even more. And could you surrender to it even more? And even more. And even more. And could you surrender to it even more? And even more. And just let go of resisting the noise in your life. And could you embrace it? And could you be one with it? And could you be one with it even more? And even more. And even more. Now notice how you feel. See, once you make the decision to move towards whatever seems to be a problem in your life, it no longer becomes a problem. And everything in life now becomes friendly, becomes a part of you. And this shows that it's all your picture. And your happiness, moment by moment, is up to you. So just open yourself up. Embrace whatever's going on in the world around you and in your life. Even those things that take your time and your attention. Could you surrender to them? And could you surrender to them even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And now, finally, could you give yourself some love and approval? That's the best thing you could do, moment by moment. And it takes no extra bandwidth. It's just a very direct thing. Could you like yourself? See, even if you're working, even if you're at a computer typing away, you could always like yourself. And even if you're on the phone, you're in a conversation with somebody, or in your meeting, you can like yourself. And you can like the other one. And you could just put your attention on love. And just notice, even if you're looking at the difference here, just notice how, even if you have to do those things, when you're doing it with an open heart and with an attitude of being loving, even if you're still having to do those things, doing them is a whole lot easier when you're loving. Love makes everything so much easier, so much lighter, so much fresher in the moment. And this is a choice you can make in the moment, even in the heat of things. So, could you just choose love? And love yourself even more. And love yourself even more. And 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 even more. Notice how you feel now. Now, can you surrender to the peace that is always here? And be one with the peace. Now, notice how powerful this is, being at peace in the real world here. See, it's one thing to be able to be peaceful when everything around you is nice and quiet. But it's another thing to be in peace when there's noise and commotion all around you. And that's how you discover for yourself firsthand that that peace, it's in here. And it's always in here. It's always been inside of you. So now, just allow that peace to expand. Just keep allowing it to unfold. And what you'll see is as you practice this in your daily life, it gets easier and easier. And you get more and more confident, you get more and more powerful. And this is what it's all about. All right, so let's just continue on. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this little walk and release, and I hope it wasn't too distracting, but really that's kind of the point, to not let the things that go on in the world around you distract you and deter you from being positive and being loving. That's what it's all about. And this is the greatest thing, because when you practice this and you get good at it, you can use anything that's going on in the world as an opportunity to be loving. You can embrace whatever's right in front of your face and use it to transform yourself into a higher consciousness. Powerful stuff. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I'm really interested in hearing what your impression is, because I actually had a lot of fun. And that's the whole point of this, is to make releasing fun, bring it into our daily lives, make it a constant thing, just make it natural. That's how we build the momentum and go free instead of just playing with it, right? Make it full time. And the more fun it is, easier it is to do that. So I wish you a wonderful, beautiful day. Happy releasing, onwards and upwards, and I'll see you soon.